Welcome to the video everyone, and in this one I'm going to be talking about Boudica, or Boudica, which you might recognise the name as. And she is a Welsh or Celtic woman who went up against the Roman Empire basically in the UK, and she's quite a heroine character in our historical our historical records really, but I don't know all that much about her, and considering I'm a Welsh woman, that's not so good. But I've heard about her and talked about her, but then I've forgotten her, so we're going to go over her. And it was actually my gran who introduced me to her, so yeah, I really don't know too much about her. And it was my gran who came from a land-rich family in North Wales. They had a lot of land. They sold most or all of it last century after the wars. But my gran was from a huge farming community in North Wales and from a very land-rich family. And she married my granddad, who was a poor man. And he was very much influenced by Labour politics, and Labour politics took a hold really of my entire family since then, but with the exception of myself, I guess you'd say. And we're going to have a look at, because also I believe that she was around 60 AD, 60 AD, which is the period of time in which I think that the Millennial Kingdom started. So we'll just have a look at her story, we'll have a look at the narrative, we'll sort of pull it apart, have a think about it, and then maybe leave it or come back to it in another video. I don't know. We'll see how it all goes. So Boudica, or Boadicea, comes from Budi or Bodai, victory or win. So she's a victorious woman, Boadicea, and Bwdg in Welsh, was a queen of the ancient British Iceni tribe, who, and that's over there in Norfolk way, okay, who led a failed uprising, okay, but she's called Victorious Woman, so, against the conquering forces of the Roman Empire. She is considered a British national heroine and a symbol of the struggle for justice and independence. Her husband, with whom she had 2 daughters, ruled as a nominally independent ally of Rome. He left his kingdom jointly to his daughters and to the Roman Emperor in his will. When he died, his will was ignored. Okay, so this is coming to us, I think. This whole, because we're seeing with the farmers, this is making me think of the farmers, and inheritance tax. So this is, okay, this is relevant now. So his will was ignored and the kingdom was annexed and his property taken. Okay, so this is saying, okay, hang on. This is saying that she was over in Norfolk, but I'm pretty sure that they were over in Wales. I'm sure that she's a Welsh story. So I'm going to have a look at that. I mean, they might have just been placed over there, you know, transferred over there. I know. We're an ancient tribe of Eastern Britain. Okay. So why am I thinking that she's Welsh? Hang on. She completely trashed St Albans too, conflicted Speaking Welsh in what is now England, her war cry. Okay. So she was English but spoke Welsh. Okay. Okay. I thought she was Welsh. So I'll have to look into that. Her husband, his will was ignored and the kingdom was annexed and his property taken. According to the Roman historian Tacitus, Boudica was flogged and her daughters raped. Oh, that's going to make her mad, I tell you. The historian Cassius Dio wrote that previous imperial donations to influential Britons were confiscated, and the Roman financier and philosopher Seneca called in the loans he had forced on the reluctant Britons. Okay. In 6061, Boudica led the Iceni and other British tribes, okay, so that's probably why Welsh are in there, in revolt. They destroyed Colchester near the capital at the... Okay, so the capital was in a different area back then. Hang on. With the Celtic tribes of pre-Roman Britain. Oh, okay. Okay, so that's where the Celtic capital was. Maybe. Or so the narrative goes. Okay. The reason why I'm stopping and thinking about this is because I'm thinking I've got a map of Britain in my head, and I know that the Roman capital of Britannia at the time of the Roman Empire was Chester, where I went to, and I did that video called The Great Questioning. And so I'm not convinced by this claim of capital over there, and I'm also not convinced that she was Norfolk. I think she was Welsh. I've got it sort of in my head that she's Welsh. I'll read on. But at that time, a colonia for discharged Roman soldiers. Oh, they destroyed, okay, and the capital. Upon hearing of the revolt, the Roman governor, I'm not going to say the name, hurried from the island of Mona, which is modern-day Anglesey, to Londinium. Okay. And my understanding was that Londinium was not the capital of Roman Britain. It was a trading area and trading location. Okay, I'm really okay. I'll try and discuss that in another video, and I'll just go along with what they're saying at the moment. The 20-year-old commercial settlement that was the rebels' next target. Oh, right, okay. Londinium was a 20-year-old commercial. Okay. Unable to defend the settlement, he excavated and abandoned it. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Maybe that's why they made Chester, which was Diva, the capital. Boudica's army defeated a detachment of the Legio Hispana and burnt both Londinium and Verulamium. Oh man. In all, an estimated 70 to 80,000 Romans and Britons were killed by Boudica's followers. Killed by... Right, okay. Okay, let me go over my issues with this story. Okay. This is my thinking. So they say that she destroyed. The will was ignored. The contract was ignored. And then she was flogged and her children raped. So, genocide. And believe me, that's going to anger some women. Some won't do anything, some will. And that's going to anger those women. They destroyed. That's what I'm having a problem with. They destroyed. Because they don't explain how it was destroyed. And, right, here's my thinking. This was in the time of Jesus, right? And he was getting a following and a gathering of kind of peaceful protest, wasn't he? And there was loads of people listening to what he had to say. And I'm talking about this because I'm of the mind that after round about 66 AD or something like that, I've seen other people say 70 AD, which seem like compelling arguments as well. But around 66 AD, they would have been listening to Jesus, who was talking about peaceful protest, really. And so it doesn't make sense to me, I guess is what I'm saying, that they went round killing people. And another way of destroying places, I'm thinking, is through the legal system. Because what you can do, or possibly do, is have so many people go through the courts that you bankrupt these places, these cities. You could bankrupt them, and then they would fall into disrepair, which would destroy them, basically, if you think about it from that perspective. And I'm just thinking about it because that was the time of Jesus, and now I saw something that Amazing Polly put on her Twitter, and she's talking about this at the moment, and it was Nero, and she actually mentioned that he may have destroyed his city purposefully, in the same way that they're doing right now. So they're destroying locations with fire, then they're claiming insurance, then they're also getting bribed to rebuild those places. So is that what happened? Was it that the Romans destroyed the area and they stole the land from the people? And then maybe when they had nothing, because this is something that I've been thinking a lot about really passionately. So we've got a legal system, we've got a justice system, so they call it. And you have a right to receive justice. You even have a right to representation, but you can actually represent yourself. And personally, I think that we should start representing ourselves. But my concern at the moment that we've got in modern day, so I'm changing the subject a bit, but the problem, this is probably the issue that they had back then, maybe. So the problem that we have today is that the middle class, if they want to go and receive justice, it is going to cost them a hefty sum, and it's going to bankrupt them, right? And we don't want to bankrupt the middle class, as far as I'm concerned. We want to bankrupt the cities and the corrupt. And that would be the MPs of the cities, councillors. We want to bankrupt them. And they want to bankrupt us. So they have to make laws and create laws which allow those in poverty to seek justice. They have to do that. And so when they've taken everything from the, swiped it all off the middle class, then they will have to go and use legislation which exists to seek justice, to try and receive a compensation back for that. And this is kind of where my head is at, and I'm just suddenly thought, what happened in Britain with we're told that it came with the Anglo-Saxons, that we got common law, because common law is an excellent law. We're really lucky to have common law. I don't think the rest of Europe have it, and there's only some parts of the world who have it, and you're really lucky, I think, if you've got common law. So I'm kind of thinking out loud in a jumbled up way, I guess. Is her war actually, because she's a victorious woman and they're saying that she died? Boudica died by suicide or illness. Don't know, don't care to find out. Shortly afterwards. The crisis of 60-61 caused Nero to consider withdrawing all of his imperial forces from Britain. He withdrew. He would have withdrew because look, this is all this. Do you think that okay, here we go. So Jesus is down in Jerusalem and he's got disciples and they're all nattering amongst each other about peaceful kind of protest and how they're going to, like we are now, like the conspiracy theorists. And they're thinking, right, okay, how are we going to deal with this? Because we can see what's coming and we know that they're going to try and kill us. So how are we going to deal with this? And maybe what they all decided amongst each other as the best way of dealing with this was going through the courts, because we do have common law, which came, very close after our common law system. And I think all of the legislation was removed. I don't think they had any legislation, or bare minimal, if they did have any. After the collapse, I mean, they do claim that the Anglo-Saxons had minimal legislation, so they did have some, but that's what the mainstream narrative says, of course. So I'm just, because I can tell you, if people do that to certain people's children, they will absolutely go after them. If they flog her and rape her daughters, she wants revenge. Believe me, she wants revenge on this. But she's probably more strategic. She knows that they can be really harmful and brutal. So she wants to go about it a different way, a clever way, because brutality is not a clever way, and Jesus was a clever man. So these were clever people, and they would have been observing all of this. You think about it, they were conspiracy theorists, because they're observing, taking it all in, watching the moves of these people, watching how their method, watching their madness, and they're strategizing, aren't they? They're strategizing. So, yeah. Now, this picture, I'm just looking at it, and she looks like Britannia, which is interesting. So let's have a look at Britannia, because it is Britannia about law and justice. Medieval use. Roman Britain. I'm going to be doing about the walls. I've just noticed here Hadrian's Wall. I'm going to be doing about the walls because there's something odd about that. Okay. Let me look into Diva. Okay. Yeah, Britannia. Britannia. One sec. I'm just... Stuff doesn't add up to me at the moment with this story. It's just little words here and there which really get to me, and I want a full a full OCD autistic type of understanding of it. I don't like that they've written they destroyed, because that is so vague, and I want precision language. I want them to actually explain to what method and destruction, how did they do it. I want that they destroyed it doesn't, it's not good enough. Yeah, saw the amphitheatre. Okay, possible capital of Britannia. Yeah. And I talked about Britannia in my last video. Britannia and what was it called? Armorica. Brittany, and that would have been sort of you see they're saying that she's over here, but the capital is over here, and that is Anglesey. Let's get in. Here is Anglesey, here is Chester or Diva, and this is where they're saying that she was. I don't know. I mean, I'm going to have to think about this quite a bit. There's too many holes. Britannica, Chester. Talking about the Roman walls and everything, and I know Chester pretty well. Gladiators. Possible capital. Let's go and look at history of Chester. The Minerva Shrine. What's that? Minerva's Shrine. The Roman goddess Minerva. The shrine dates from the early 2nd century and is carved into the face of a sandstone quarry. It is the only monument of its kind in Western Europe that remains in its original location. It is protected by the 19th century stone around with a hood. The carving has weathered over time and has also been damaged by human activity. So it's the 2nd century, so it was about 2,000 years. So, so maybe at that same time of Boudica. What's Minerva? I don't know what this is a Roman goddess of wisdom, justice, law, victory, and sponsor of arts, trade, and strategy. Strategy. I like her. She is also a goddess of warfare, though with a focus on strategic warfare rather than the violence of what? Rather than the violence of gods such as Mars. Oh, hang on. When did it? Oh bugger! I've lost it. Where did it say that it was built? I go back, don't I? When was this built? When was this shrine built? The shrine dates from the early 2nd century. So they're saying 200 AD. Oh! I wonder if it's a shrine to... Could this be a shrine to Boudica? Hang on. Where did I go? Oh, hang on, I'll go there. The Roman goddess of wisdom, justice, law, because this is... The thing is, I'm thinking that this is a method and strategy that Jesus was going for. And this is why I'm thinking that they won the millennial kingdom. Because we do know that common law came back, well, not necessarily came back, but common law became their legal system after the Roman Empire collapsed. And if you think about it, yeah, because they probably, thinking about Jesus, and he flipped the tables, yeah, of the money changers. So he is thinking bankrupt the money changers. And I remember on one of my previous videos, I was saying that before they went and got rid of they exiled the Jews with I think it was 1275 law. Oh, 1275. 75, that's an interesting date. Right, anyway, with that law, they had said something about how they had kind of bankrupted the money creators, I'd better call it, on, YouTube. I wonder if that's what they did. Did they did they bankrupt them? Let's have a look a bit more about her. She is also a goddess of warfare, though with a focus on strategic warfare. Oh, woman after my own heart. Rather than the violence of gods such as Mars. Okay. Beginning in the 2nd century BC, before Christ, the Romans equated her with the goddess Athena. Okay, I'll have a look at that. Minerva is one of 3 Roman deities. Poetry, music, medicine, wisdom. I like wisdom. Commerce, okay, weaving and crafts. Let's look at this one. I don't know much, I don't know anything about these Greek and Roman goddesses and whatnot. Associated with wisdom, warfare and handicraft. Oh right, okay, yeah. It's like these gods and goddesses sort of reappear, isn't it? When was this? I don't know. From which she most likely received her name. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. The myth of Minerva birth follows that of Athena. Jupiter raped Titaness. There's a lot of rape in this, isn't there? Which resulted in her attempting to change shape. Okay, well, I don't really know much about Greek or Roman mythology and Greek or Roman gods. So I'm just wondering, is Boudica Minerva, I guess, if they had a shrine? Or was she inspired by Minerva, maybe? Or more still, maybe she was an early Christian and the Romans attacked her. Maybe her whole family were Christians and they went after them because of it. I mean, I just don't know. Or, I don't know. I suppose she was... Obviously, we're told that she lost. But her name is Victorious Woman, so I don't think we can believe that she lost if she's victorious, can we? Events leading to the revolt. Boudica was flogged and her daughters were raped. These abuses are not mentioned in Dio's account, who instead cites 3 different causes for the rebellion. The recalling of loans, confiscation of money formerly loaned to the Britons, and Boudica's own entities. You see, what happens is I'm reading their narrative and I'm trying to get out of their narrative and try and understand it from the perspective of it being Satan's season. And I'm just having difficulty flipping every now and again and sort of changing what they're trying to apply what they're saying to me to what I'm thinking from other research, and it's just a bit difficult sometimes. This is interesting. The rebels also sacked these places, modern St Albans. Well, that's where my Anglo-Saxon side of my family is, and that's Anglo-Saxon area, that is. Okay, because that's Wessex. That's where Alfred the Great was king. Well, I've done ages here, and I don't really think that I've actually helped as much as I wanted to talk it through, because the thing is, it's so hard to come to a conclusion with history because it's so twisted and difficult. I don't believe what we're told, but it's difficult to provide enough evidence to make a solid case that it's false, especially when it's 2,000 years ago. All I can do is base it upon theory and, look into these different aspects, such as this Minerva's shrine, which would have been at that time. I mean, what if that shrine was done for Boudica, and Boudica fought in Diva, which is Chester, and she won. And then the other armies, they're saying that they were in Anglesey, which they could well have been, and that is even closer to Chester. Maybe if it was a memorial site for Boudica, then the narrative creators can mock Christian values, if she was an early Christian, and say that it was a shrine for a Roman goddess or something. Because obviously Christians are not to idolise gods and goddesses and all that kind of thing. So, there's a lot I've got to research still on this, isn't there, really? But this is just, I just wanted to touch upon it, and it's turned into a really long video. I'm just thinking about it from the perspective of what Jesus was telling his disciples to do, and the way he was saying to... I think he was very much like this. He was very much wisdom, justice, law, victory, trade and strategy. And then and imagine if Boudica's husband was he ruled as a nominally independent ally of Rome. So he was the ruler. Yeah, he was the ruler of Britannia at that time. And Britannia had Armorica. Are we going? Do you think that Britannia had Armorica at this time of the revolt, and maybe the Roman Empire wanted to take a hold of Armorica? Is that a possibility? I'm just thinking now about Chester, and look at that. So you've got these black and white buildings, haven't you? Yeah, look at all these black and white buildings. And you've got all these, like, emblems. We'll go back there sometime, actually. Look. And I'm just thinking, I guess, and it just screams Chester. Look. Them. It's like, you know, they are different. Oh, that's the same one. There are other buildings. I guess I'm just looking at it. Because here's the thing. My gran, and she's on my Welsh Celt side, she always told me that the Welsh won. And that's why me and my sister were like Welsh nationalists. We were so proud of Wales for beating the Roman Empire. And now I'm reading through it and I'm reading that that never happened. And it's about whether I believe these so-called experts or my gran. And I believe my granny. And I think she was telling the truth. So yeah, I mean, she always used to say, you know, oh, don't listen to them. They're liars, them lot. So I know, you know, I've had that drilled into me since childhood. So I'm trying to figure it out. And what it is that I know I'm right. I know that I'm right, but I can't prove it. And I really want to prove it. And I don't think that I can, because I can't disprove what they've said and set as a narrative, because loads of people will have followed it for years and years. And so I guess all I can do is say that this is my theory, that Boudica did win because she's called Victorious Woman, and you don't call someone Victorious Woman if they lose. I mean, she's got the Britannica, Minerva, she's got the helmet. Were the Romans, or were the Celts and all of that, were they eventually making a shrine for Boudica because she won for Britannica? Britannica. Did she win for Britannica and then they built a shrine for her? Okay. Well, I'm gonna leave that now. And I don't know if I've been helpful. So thanks. Thanks for sparing your time. I'd like your comments if possible, because I'm really struggling to I want to prove it. I want to prove it, and I can't, and I know that I can't, and it's frustrating me because I've got a legal. I adore the law, and I've got very much a legal mind, and I don't like taking cases that I'm going to lose. It's a waste of time. Let me correct that, because you can still use case law. I can see that I'm losing this because I can't prove it. And it's all theory, but I know I'm right. And this is a frustrating thing about it. I just know I am right on this. So hopefully, I don't know if other people get frustrated by this kind of stuff. It really bugs me out. But anyway, I'll leave it there because I can't do any more on it. I can only show you little bits and slivers and things like that. And let me know what you think. Oh yeah, and tell me, do you think that they bankrupted the money changers? I think they bankrupted the cities, and then that bankrupted the money lenders and money changers. That's basically what I think happened. And so they couldn't pay for their wars anymore. So their money had run out because everyone started bringing case law against them. That's kind of how I'm thinking about it. And I would like that to happen again. I'd really like that to happen again. And that was pure strategy. Very clever. What is it? Justice, law, wisdom. Love that. Trade, strategy, warfare and strategic warfare. Oh, I feel inspired. Yeah, I totally think they went for strategic warfare. I think that's what we're going to have to do. Strategic warfare. So, I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. All right, well, I'll leave it there, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.